Hi everyone, my name is Ramilo of PTLED HE4. We have a laboratory activity number 5 and this is for the subject loading construction. So for today's video, I'll be going to show you how to drafting the front and back bodies foundation pattern. Come and join me! So these are the learning objectives. So after watching the video, watchers would be able to discuss the proper measurements of taking the front and back pattern. Second, perform the step-by-step procedure of drafting the front and back pattern. And last, follow the steps in drafting the front and back pattern. So these are the materials that we are going to use. We have tape measure, tracing wheel, ruler, marker, pencil, French curve, carbon paper, and pattern paper. So I have here with me is a 1/4 sheet of Manila paper. So what I did is I fold it into two and I cut it to the center part. So this is for the front and back drafting bodies foundation pattern that we are going to make. Let's start with step number 1. First, draw a perpendicular line. And mark the corner A. A would be the starting point. From point A to get point B, measure 3" downward and mark it as point B. Then A to C, measure 5.5 inches and that is the chest height. And then A to D, you need to get the 1/2 of the armhole. Example, armhole is 16 divided by 2 is 8 inches and that is point D. To locate point E, use the figure length. Example, the figure is 15.5 inches and that is point E. And now project point B, C, D, and E to the right with a straight line using a ruler. So from A to F, use a 2.5 inches for the neck width. And then connect F to B using a ruler. Using a French curve, you can shape the neckline. The position of the French curve is look like a letter J. From point A to G, use a half shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement is 13 inch divided by 2 and that is 6.5 inch. And that is point G. G to H downward, measure 1.5 inches and that is point H. Draw a straight line downward using a ruler. Connect F to H with a diagonal line using a ruler. Next step is to locate point I. So from C going to the right, use 1/2 chest measurement. Let's say 11.5 divided by 2 and that is 5 3/4. Connect H to I with a diagonal line using a ruler. To get point J, start in point D. If the bust measurement is 31 inch divided by 4, that is 7 3/4 and add 1 inch to the right and that is point J. Next, shape the armhole using a French curve from point G to J. Next is point K. Start it in point E to the right. Waist measurement is 25 inches divided by 4 and that is 6 1/4 plus add 1.5 inches for the dart and that is point K. Connect J to K with a diagonal line using a ruler. Point A to the right, get the bust height. So bust height is 8 inches. Measure it downward to get the point L. So this part is the point L. Then add 1 1/4 to the right of point L. start measuring from point E, use 1/2 bust distance. So the bust distance is 7.5 divided by 2, that is 3 3/4, and that is point M. From point M to the left, measure 3/4 inch, and that is point N. From point M, another 3/4 to the right, and mark it as point O. Make sure the distance of NMO is the same with point L on the top. And connect point L to point N, point M, and point O downward. Fold the dart from point N to point O. Connect point E to point K with a straight line using a roller. So it is very important to connect it and make it straight so that it won't have a notch. So this is it. This is the finished front body's pattern. So let's now proceed to the back body's pattern. To start with, from point A downward, measure 1 inch to locate point 1. To get the depth of the back neckline, shape it using a French curve from point F going to point 1. To get the back shoulder, you need to raise 1.5 inch. Then connect point F to 2 with a diagonal line using a ruler. To get the back armhole from point I, measure 1/2 inch to the right and mark it as point 3. To get the point 4 from point J to the left, measure 1.5 inch. Then from point K to the left, measure 1.5 inch to get point 5. After that, connect point 4 and point 5 with a diagonal line using a ruler. Now, shape the back armhole starting from point 2, passing to point 3, and going to point 4 using a French curve. Let's now proceed to the dart of back bodies. Start to the point L upward, then measure 1 inch, and that is point 6. Then from point M to the left, measure 1/2 inch, and that is point 7. And again to the right, 1/2 inch, and that is point 8. Fold the back dart and connect point 8 to point 7. Using your roller, draw a straight line from point 5 to point A to make the waistline straight. So I have here with me is a new piece of Manila paper. I am going to transfer the back pattern using a carbon paper. So I will be going to use a tracing wheel to transfer the lines to the Manila paper below the carbon paper. So since the lines are not that so bold, I am going to use a marker and use a ruler and French curve to follow the lines. And this would be the final outcome. So presenting to you the back and front body's foundation pattern. So what do you think is the importance of front and back bodice foundation patterns? So patterns are essentially made so that the same style can be easily duplicated when it is needed, and multiple pieces can be efficiently made. Pattern making ensures that you don't have to start from scratch while duplicating the pattern. So that would be all. Thank you for watching.